Really, the topic of the show, we talked about this a little last week, not as much as I feel like we should have, and so that's why, as I said last week, we're going to go back into this whole Charlemagne the God rape allegation thing. Some more information has come to surface, at least it's come to my attention, as well as, the Breakfast Club released an official response to these, resurfaced allegations. And their response was interesting in a sense. They just kind of brushed over it and their stance is, hey, South Carolina law, states that since he entered into a plea agreement, then they're not going to reopen that case, which is understandable. I mean, I knew that going into it. He signed off on a plea deal. They're not going to go back now and be like, oh well, we're going to prosecute you for something you already pleaded out to, in a sense, even though he didn't necessarily plead out to rape. But there's a lot. I'm bringing this back up because, to me, it's a crazy story in the sense of the girl seems really credible, and if you look at the facts of the case, and I know a lot of people just go off of what they read online or what they might get from a YouTube video. But if you go online, you can see the actual court documents. Now, I don't know. Some people don't know that court documents are public record, unless the case is expunged or sealed. Something to that nature. Most cases, most things that will play out in court it's just public information. These documents are readily available to the public. It's the freedom of information, and so you can go and get these documents and look through them. Now I know most people won't, and so that's why people just base an opinion or have an opinion not based off of enough facts. But if you go through the documents, he was initially accused of rape. It says it. Now he ultimately pleaded out to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Now, with his plea agreement, he was on probation for 3 years. Now, what law did you know that would, for contributing to the delinquency of a minor, that charge alone, you're not going to get 3 years of probation, and along with some house arrest and that sort of thing. And so to me, it's just there's something going on there. There's more to that story. She never mentioned him, but with the Charlemagne thing, he was arrested. I don't know if she mentioned him or how he got involved. His side of the story is he went to the police. We went down to the police station. He has several different sides to the story, but the one we're gonna run with for the purpose of this conversation is he's basically saying that he went down to the police station because one of his cousins told him that that somebody else had already been arrested for the rape, and the girl was saying that this happened at the party, so he felt like he needed to go down there and address the situation. And according to him, he was willing to take full responsibility for providing the liquor at the party. And so. Now, the thing about it, even when I talked about it last week, my thing about it was he got caught in several lies because according to him, he was 20 years old, and the cops were asking him, well, how did he buy the liquor? And he told them that a crackhead bought it for him. Okay, and so if that's your story, then how do you end up pleading guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor when you were a minor because you wasn't even old enough to drink yet? So that blows that out the water. So I can't necessarily, believe that. Yeah, his background is messed up before that case. But just about the case specifically, it's funny how they're just brushing over it, and a lot of the media is brushing over it, and that's another reason why I'm speaking on it too, in this small platform that I have, because it's just too much picking and choosing. It's just this guy he puts himself on a pedestal. In the sense of he talks as if he's this guru and this great mind and someone that people should listen to. He's almost like a philosopher in a sense. And he always tells people to live out their truth and live your truth so it can't be used against you and all of these quote on all these quotes. But at the same time, and that's exactly what's happening to him, ironically enough. This girl is living out, she's speaking her truth as far as her account of the events. He's bringing it up in his books. He's writing books about it. He's doing interviews about it. So she has every right to come out and tell her side of the story. Now, going back to the court documents. The court documents state that the reason why the case, he couldn't get prosecuted for the rape was the victim was uncooperative. Now, he's saying he submitted a DNA sample and that's how he got cleared of the rape. Okay. If it's holes in that story, because if you submitted, why are you submitting a DNA sample for one? And then for two, if you are doing it, then why wouldn't that be the reason why you're exonerated for the rape? Why wouldn't the court document state that You know, and then that is you submitted a DNA sample. Like, why? The only place that we're hearing about this DNA sample is from Charlemagne and his legal team, which is suspect within itself. And then there's just a lot of holes in this story, and so I like to know what y'all think. Also, the phone number to call in is 614-636-5601. And so again, we're talking about the Charlemagne rape allegations and how this is not being covered in the mainstream media, and how people are kind of brushing this, sweeping this under the rug, so to speak. And it's troublesome for me because going back and listening to a lot of his old videos, like he openly discussed, slipping a Spanish fly into a girl's drink and having sex with her while she was, halfway conscious and halfway, unconscious. Like, this is conversation that he had, and so according to him, it wasn't rape, but it's suspect. And, and so if you're behaving in that way, then it's not a far-fetched for me to believe that what the girl's saying is true. It seems like it's something that you practiced at one point in time in your life. Now, I'm not saying this is what you still do now. I understand that it's possible that somebody can change. Maybe you was a perverted rapist back in the day, and maybe at this point in your life, you're no longer into that. Maybe because you're in a position where now you don't have to do these things because you're a media celebrity, and, girls are probably throwing themselves at you. So you don't have to resort to these tactics to get to the girls that you were previously trying to get with, that you didn't have the same status or level of status to, and so you did some grimy stuff back then that you wouldn't necessarily do now, not because you're a changed person, but just because there's no longer a need for you to behave in that way. But, put in a certain situation, maybe you would resort to that same old, rapist mentality. And like I say, it is alleged, like I'm not calling the man a rapist, but I am saying that he's done some very rapey sort of things that he's admitted to openly. Like, this ain't me just throwing this out there, as an accusation. This is something that he's admitted to openly on his own podcast. And so if anybody just thinking that I'm accusing him of something, I'm just listening to the man. And a wise person once told me, when somebody tell you who they are, believe them. And we got this thing where we like to fantasize about people, and we want people to be who we want them to be or who we make them out to be in our own minds. But the reality is when somebody tell you who they are, believe them. Simple as that. Because they're not lying. You know what I'm saying? They're not lying to you. You're only lying to yourself when you choose to not believe them. And you're going to end up finding out the hard way is what ended up happening a lot of times, is that a lot of people think one way, and then it turns out, a person reveals themselves who they always told you they were, but you didn't want to believe it. And then now when you're forced to deal with it, and you're the one that's crushed when that cold hard reality hit. And so I'm very bothered by these allegations. I'm very bothered by the fact that, it doesn't seem to be important to anybody that this guy is. And even if you just watch how he interacts with a lot of the women on the show, like, he's done a lot of, different perverted things, sniffing chairs and, just weird stuff that, a normal dude wouldn't be able to get away with. And so I don't know what it is with him. I don't know, who he's affiliated or aligned himself with that's allowing this to go on, but it is what it is. I can't rock with it. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. And like I said, I'm not saying that the man raped anybody, but he's admitted, he's actually admitted to, slipping girls' drinks and having sex with half unconscious girls. And so, hey, for me, that ain't a far stretch to believe that, what this lady is accusing him of is 100% not true. It has to be, at least I believe it got to be some truth to it. Too many lies. Too many holes in the story. So y'all let me know what y'all think. 614-636-5601.